A couple of the highlights of our genetic library is it started from a guy who whakapapa us back to Te Kaha. He is a second generation grower, so his father did it before him. And because his father had learned how to grow on the coast, his son took over those skills. So when I started connecting with them and bringing their stuff into this legal framework, it gave me a sense of like, this is what Rua's story was about when we talk about unique genetics, what are unique? Obviously, there's no varieties that are indigenous to New Zealand. We found that certain genetics that came through actually help people, and we're lucky that we met these breeders that took some of that, saved some of that, and years later they've still got it. And having those relationships, I guess, has opened up more doors in a respect way, because we've been given chance to be the kaitiaki of their genetic, and it's all under the understanding that they can trust us with it. So bringing it into this legal framework, we know that if, for instance, Rua takes these somewhere else where we can monetize it off, that there's discussions at the top about how do we look after those people that contributed to us. So I'm proud to be part of any negotiations when it comes to that, because these guys gave everything to us, and even though we work for a legal company, it took that, still being able to work with the world that we worked in before, the illicit world, and that trust to be able to bring it into a legal framework, because the legacy world doesn't trust this legal world. So we have to have players within it that can be trusted. At the moment, the industry is chasing high THC. High THC was used against us as illicit growers because it caused psychosis and stuff like that. We've got high THC, we can serve the industry with what it wants, but being growers that have come from the plant for decades, we know that it's not all about high THC. So we still have varieties that are low THC, high terpene, more flavonoids, and once people get off the high THC rush, they'll understand and find the genetics that are suited to what they're looking for, whether it's for the anxiety, whether it's to have a cerebral high, whether it's to aid with epilepsy, things like that. So we know that this industry is new, but because we've come from the illicit industry, we know the patterns of how it goes, and it's not all about high THC. Okay, so what we do here is we're mainly breeding and research and development. Most cultivation companies out there are just trying to cultivate to get product to market, where Rua learned in the early days that it's financially unviable to try to do that here in New Zealand. So it changed its focus to breeding. And so what we do here is, and it's been part of the illicit declaration, is not only pheno hunting through these to look for our gems, but also to grow them out, see what they're like, and if they're beneficial, what we think are beneficial for a market, we'll keep them. So a lot of the stuff we do here is not your business as usual stuff, and all other cultivation companies in New Zealand are not doing this because it just soaks up so much time and money. But with Rua's focus of genetics and breeding and getting genetics across the world, us, the growers here, had to take it to a level where the company didn't understand what that meant. And so for us, this is what it means. And it's not about hitting the high THC here and now. It's about looking at what the industry wants, what it needs, and trying to forecast where it'll go. And so by having that whole range of genetics and us growing them, understanding what they're like, getting them tested, we know that, say in the future, somebody's going to say, look, we need something that's high in CBG, or something that's got this much THC, this much CBD. So we've always learned illicitly that variety was a spice of life, and so we try and keep that same thought process industry. And we're lucky that Rua's been allowing us to play as a sense in this, because I guess when they first said breeding, they didn't understand how far we would take it. And we've given them what they want, we've met the outcomes of what it wants, but now we're going further in the hope that when the company's ready to do something, we're like, oh, hey, we've got it. Here's what you want. This is the CBD high plant that you want.